Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first All Things Viterbi live chat for this semester. I'm Riley. We'll get into the introduction soon. So this live chat is a Q&A based live chat. So y'all will be able to answer questions via the Q&A function, which will be at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And there you can enter in your questions. And we also have an upvote feature. So if there are questions that other people enter that you think are really interesting and you really want answered, go ahead and upvote them, and the top upvoted questions will be answered by our panelists. So go ahead and start getting those questions in as we do our introductions, and we can get started soon. And just as a reminder, we are students at USC. We don't really have the qualifications or even the knowledge to answer questions related to admissions. If you have those questions, I will provide a link in the chat to our admissions website where you can see those answers. And we also have our events website where you can sign up for our live info sessions for admissions and other events as well. Okay, and just to get started, I'm Riley. I'm a junior at USC. I study industrials and system engineering, and I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. Some things I'm involved in on campus, I'm involved in an organization called Troy Camp. It's like a service organization, and we work with local LA youth, and it's about all supporting the community. I'm also a member of the National Society of Black Engineers, and I participated in undergraduate research my freshman year.
Hey y'all, my name's Alex. I study computer engineering and computer science. I'm a senior from Allentown, Pennsylvania. On campus, I run our ski team and I help lead our entrepreneurship organizations. I've also done some research previously. And then off campus, I run a small hardware engineering firm and also a startup that builds tech for dentists.
Hi everyone, my name's Sophie. I'm a sophomore studying chemical engineering and I'm from Chicago, Illinois. On campus, I'm part of the propulsion team with the Rocket Propulsion Lab. We actually launched a rocket last spring. I don't know if any of you guys saw that, but that was pretty cool. I'm also part of the Society of Women Engineers, the Environmental Student Assembly, and I also do research with the Sharada Lab, which focuses on computational chemistry.
I'm Antonio McVeigh. I'm from Lake Mary, Florida. I'm a junior studying aerospace engineering, and here at USC, I'm a part of multiple organizations as well. I'm actually an active member in the National Society of Black Engineers, just like Riley. I'm also a member of the Air Force ROTC program, where I soon to be hopefully a flight test engineer in the future. And I am the founder slash prez of a new drone racing team that I'm starting here at SC as well.
Hi guys, I'm Sarah. I'm a sophomore studying biomedical engineering and I'm also pre-med, and I'm from just outside of St. Paul, Minnesota. Here on campus, I'm part of Scout, which is this organization that goes into elementary schools and we teach science experiments to elementary school kids. I'm part of Med Design, which is a biomedical design team club. My team is designing a device to test potassium levels at home, and I'm part of the Trojan Health Interpreters, where I'm a volunteer medical interpreter. I also do research in two labs. One is more microbiology focused and one is more orthopedic focused. So I get to be involved in all sides of BME.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so just to reiterate, this is a Q&A. So if you've just joined, go ahead and put those questions in the Q&A function on your Zoom screen. It should be at the bottom of your screen. And make sure you upvote other people's questions or upvote your own question, because the highest upvotes we see are the questions that will be answered during our Q&A. So we're starting off with a really great question. The question is, what made you all choose USC over other schools? In other words, what unique factors made USC stand out to you?
Yeah, so for me, USC was not the first school that I toured, which actually mattered a lot. It was in fact the last that I toured. And coming onto campus, I had known one person in the entire school, and she invited me to come around. She gave me a tour herself. I wasn't able to get in with a tour group, and I mean just the energy on campus. And I say this all the time, like uh, USC is such a beautiful community because I get to know so many people, not just in engineering, but in every department all across the school. So anywhere I go on campus, I feel at home. And I definitely got that sense from the first time I came to campus too. So that was it for me. Curious what you guys say.
Adding on to what Alex said, I kind of had a similar experience. I had never been to California until I came to tour USC, and I just really liked like the atmosphere. Like it's genuinely so gorgeous and people seem really happy. And also the size of the school means that you get all the opportunities of a large school. There's so much research, so many design teams, and yet Viterbi is still like small enough that you get to know pretty much everyone. I feel like I know so many people, and so you get that like smaller school environment without having to like limit your opportunities. And of course, there's access to LA, which is also amazing.
Yeah, I mean, going off of that, like a huge portion of the reason why I chose SC was just because of like the work-life balance side of things. I mean, we can all say here that we're pretty we get pretty busy when it comes to homework and stuff like that. But other than that, we still have time to join different organizations, join different societies, and just hang out and have fun with friends and travel LA, like what Sarah and Sophie were talking about. So I feel like for me, that was a huge portion as to why I chose SC, is mainly because of the fact that it wasn't that type of competitive nature where I have to like literally watch my back every 5 seconds to make sure that I'm on top of all my homework.
Yeah.
I kind of get to chill and relax sometimes and actually hang out with friends. So yeah.
How about you, Sophie?
Yeah, for me, definitely a big part of it was what Sarah mentioned too, that the fact that the Viterbi community is just, and it's weird to say small because like it doesn't feel small when you're a part of it, but I definitely, when I was looking at some other schools and I heard how just like large their engineering things were, I was kind of scared. I was like, I came from kind of a smaller high school. I was like, how am I going to meet people? And I really like that the fact that Viterbi has a size of school is so small just means that you inherently come into already a close-knit community that you can then be a part of.
So,
Yeah, for me personally, one of my big reasons why I just chose USC versus other engineering schools is I just felt like the support students receive within engineering classes is amazing. We have professors who are open with their office hours, there's TAs, there's even tutoring that students can get for any classes. And I felt like that made me feel really supported. And especially just as a Black woman who's going into engineering, I loved that there was an organization like NESB on campus. And NESB is such a great network that makes me feel supported. And there's a lot of students who I even looked up to as mentors when I was a freshman that really helped me through engineering. There's many other organizations like that at USC for different groups, such as a society of um, there's a Society of Hispanic Professionals in Engineering. Yes. And yeah, so we'll head over to our next question. Um, our next one is, what opportunities are there at Viterbi for students that have an idea and want to make it a real product, such as maker spaces, support, etc.? I
I
think
can talk about this
Alexander
really quick too.
or Sarah, you can start. Yeah.
Yeah, so the club I'm in, Med Design, is that's pretty much the whole concept. Is we have a team and there are people who like once they design their product, they actually do go on to make it into a real product. For example, a team, they were called Ada Prosthetics, and they designed a adjustable prosthetic pylon. So kids, as they grow, they need like larger prosthetics. And they have been working on it for a couple of years, and they actually just split off from Med Design to go start actually trying to test this and go commercial. So it's
Wow, that's
definitely something that
amazing.
happens.
Yeah.
They competed in design competition, got a ton of advice through that, and now that's what they're up to. So it's definitely something people can do and actually do accomplish here at USC.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say that like on top of that, in terms of maker spaces, we have a really nice maker space here in Viterbi. I mean, at least I think so. I'm in there like all the time. Just if I'm not like creating something on like the laser cutter in there, I'm 3D printing something, or literally just talking with people in there, figuring out what they're doing because it's really cool seeing everyone putting their projects together. Especially being an engineer, I'll be like kind of nerd out about that stuff sometimes, like is that so and so or is that what is that? You know what I mean? So yeah, we have a really nice makerspace that I use very often. So you can definitely use that anytime you want within hours as long as you have certain trainings completed.
yeah, I think not to pile on, but the thing that makes USC so cool is we have this growing builder spirit. So I'm really involved in the entrepreneurship community on campus. For the past couple of years, I've helped run this club called Lava Lab. And what we do is, and we and other clubs like us do this. We've taken a cohort of students every semester, and then we give them curriculum support, resources, connections. We put them on teams and we help them take their ideas, and we put them on cross-disciplinary teams. So it's not just you and a bunch of engineers, but writers or business students or people who have unique sets of backgrounds. And we give you guys the resources, the support, and the education necessary to like bring a product to life. So for me, I never built anything of my own before joining Lava Lab. And then afterwards, I'm in a fantastic group of people, and we founded a company called Hatchet together, which we've been fairly successful with, and it's springboarded me into plenty of other product-related entrepreneurial pursuits. So I think USC has a fantastic builder community, and there's tons of clubs and opportunities for you to get your hands wet, or your feet, I don't know, feet wet too, I guess.
Yeah, the clubs are so cool. I have a friend who's on like the Formula Racing team club where they build like a Formula style car. Like that's so amazing to me. Like that's so cool. Um, our next question is, what is your favorite part about being a student of Viterbi?
I think for me, the coolest part about my day is I get to do some amazing classwork. I get to work with the coolest people. And then on the weekends, I get to surf, ski, mountain bike, whatever I want to do. And that's kind of a factor of being in LA, and also a factor of like there's a ton of cool people at Viterbi and USC to do stuff with. So
I love that right away when I got here, I got to immediately get involved in actually doing engineering. I got to join med design and start doing research my first semester here. And I just really like that at Viterbi you can just jump right in and then meet a ton of other cool people who also want to jump right in with you. And so it's just this like you get to immediately start applying everything you're doing and you feel so like involved in this major that you chose right away. And I love that aspect.
Yeah, with me, like I think that the fact that everything is so like as soon as I joined, like the first few classes I took were all engineering based, and I got to actually use a lot of the stuff that I learned in those classes for like my everyday life. Like I think I actually wrote this in a blog before, which if you guys haven't checked out, we do also all write blogs as students here to kind of give you guys our perspective. But yeah, I wrote about in the blog that I had a dilemma, I had a problem I faced, right? And the problem was basically that I just had no storage space whatsoever for any of my items at the end of the year. And I essentially bought a unit blindly, and I was like, hey, like, how am I gonna fit everything in there? So I literally did like the process, like problem solving that I learned within Viterbi. I found the size and dimensions for every single thing I had. I literally catted it out and put everything in the box, and it was like the nerdiest thing I've done, but it was pretty cool seeing that I could actually apply the things that I've learned already in Viterbi for like literally everyday life stuff. So that's a huge portion of one of the things that I like.
Yeah, one of my favorite things being a student at Viterbi is how they really like want you to be more than just an engineering student. I forgot to mention this earlier, but I actually have a minor in Spanish.
Oh, me
And one
too.
thing, yeah, exactly. So one thing that I really look forward to going to is like an abroad program in Madrid. I actually just applied, and hopefully I get in. But again, like as a veterinary engineering student, you're really pushed to do things outside of engineering. I have friends who are hip hop minors. I have friends who are minors in business and all these different schools around USC. And so, yeah, we call it like engineering plus because we really think that engineering students like we need to be well rounded and everything. And that's what that really spoke to me when I was applying as a student. Yeah. Um, so our next question there is upvoted. And just as a reminder for anyone who hopped in, we are doing a Q&A. Make sure you're typing out your questions and upvoting them. We're still checking to see what's the next upvoted question. So Charlie has the question of what is the teaching style at USC?
Yeah, so I can talk about sorry. I can talk about this one for a little bit. I feel like a lot of that is it just kind of depends on what kind of classes you're taking. In the sense where like some of my classes that were like the big kind of intro science classes, that was definitely more like lecture style where you have lecture sections, but then because those classes are on the larger size, you have your little smaller discussion sections with your TAs and you have which are teaching assistants, and you have it kind of more split up. And then also, all freshmen have to take a writing seminar class. Yeah, you have to take it's RIT 150, pretty sure. And in that class, that one's a lot smaller. And so that teaching style is more of like a conversation where you and like 15 or so people are kind of in conversation about whatever topic that you pick. So, I feel like there's not really one general teaching style, but it's more kind of depending on what class you're in. But whatever class you are in, whether the main lecture is more lecture based, there are definitely opportunities to interact with the content and interact with your peers in a more individualized way.
Adding on to that, all of our classes are taught by professors. At some super big universities, there are classes that are just totally taught by TAs. Here, we do not have that. Every single one of your classes has a real professor actually teaching the class.
Yep. So yeah, let's move on to our next question. Um, I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but I believe it's Eyal or Eyal. Their question is, how available are engineering labs? Do first year students have access to all the labs, or do you gain more access with the classes that you take?
I mean, I guess for that, it kind of depends on what you're talking about when you say labs. Because what comes to mind for me is like I have like for my organic chemistry class, I have a chem lab, and it's like there you don't get people just like going in there, like outside of class. So like that's a very specific like yes, you take the class and then you go to that lab. But I guess also I'm part of RPL, which is the rocket propulsion lab, and that lab you can just go into. At the beginning of the year, they have like a general safety meeting, but as long as you go to that, you can just go to the lab and help out there. So for a lot of the design teams and a lot of that, you don't need to take classes before you can get involved with those. You can just kind of show up and they'll be like, hey, like, don't touch this and let me teach you how to use this. And it's all very like beginner friendly. But yeah, that's what I think of when I hear engineering labs, I guess.
Yeah, adding on
Yeah,
to that, the research labs are also,
Oh,
you
that's
can't just like wander into a random research lab and start, I don't know, researching, but you can definitely apply to be a research assistant in a research lab right away in the fall.
hmm
I know some people have curves, so they get like funding right away to get paid to do research. Other people just like cold email professors and be like, hey, like I want to do research, and then you can. So it's super accessible to anyone. You just have to like show interest. But yeah.
Yeah, and I
yeah, and
can
just
I
oh,
can take
sorry.
a minute to talk about Curve. So Curve is it's the Center for Undergraduate Research with Viterbi Engineering. And what that means is basically I got an email like the summer before my freshman year from them that was like, hey, like apply and we'll match you with a mentor and a lab and a PI and you'll get funding. And I was like, oh, cool. Like I'm never gonna get this. Like there's got to be tons of people applying. And I applied and I got an email later that was like, hey, remember that application you filled out? Like, guess what? You're in research. And so that was a really cool opportunity because Curve is specifically meant for first-time researchers. So they are expecting that you have no research experience, that you have no idea what you're doing, that you like, I mean, you've got to have a little bit of science, but like other than that, like they will take you in and teach you everything that you need to know. So that makes research as a whole really approachable and really great. And then you also get to have this community with all of these other first-time researchers, and they have socials, and then at the end of the year you like share your work with your friends, and you're like it's a really great community to be a part of.
Yeah, I was really gonna say the same thing, Sophie. Because I also did curve my freshman year, and it was I went into it like kind of nervous to like have a PhD mentor, but everyone in the program was so amazing, so sweet, and really kind of helped me figure out like if research was something that I want to do, like go into like academia versus like going into like work professionally like in a company. It's a great opportunity that USC has for first years, and it's actually the great thing about Curve is that you can actually return to do it through USC, either with the same lab or with a different lab. It's just with whoever you apply to as you apply. Okay, continue getting those questions in and upvoting. And so our next question is, what would you guys say is the biggest perk of being a student in USC Viterbi?
Viterbi specifically, uh, lots of work. I don't know. No, no. I think Viterbi is not that large of a school. There are smaller, but what's really cool about being an engineer specifically, and I think this applies anywhere, is you meet someone who's in Viterbi. you can automatically know that they're working on something cool. So you just get to ask them about like what cool areas they've dove into for their curriculum, or there's a lot of shared experiences too, like locking in at Levy, or some of the traditions that we have in Viterbi are pretty exciting too. So
Yeah, I know for a lot of the courses that the teachers are very lax about the fact that you can work with other students. Like they try to make Viterbi very collaborative in a way. And so I really like the fact that that's like the biggest perk for me is that I can work on these assignments with my friends. And of course, don't copy each other's answers down, but we can have it as like we all learn together and we all collaborate to get the work done. That helped out a lot. Not to like, call myself out, but I didn't do as well on like only the first time I took an exam. And then as soon as I locked in with the large group of people, I did a lot better on
No,
it.
same. I had the
100%.
same experience. It's literally like teamwork makes the dream work, honestly. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
And then regarding perks of USC as a whole, USC also just has a lot of like really cool random things that happen because it's in LA and it's like the cinematic art school is just like insane. So sometimes like movies come like before they're even released, like the How to Train Your Dragon live action came before it was even like out, and you could just sign up to go see it.
Wasn't there
But
like
yeah,
a
lots of crazy
statue
things
of
like
like
There
the
that.
was a
Yeah,
dragon
there
and
was.
statue
everything?
of
Oh, yeah.
Toothless.
I think they stole it from Universal though. They had to give it back. Like
They
they
had
just
to
like
give
borrowed it for a week.
And there's always free stuff all the time. Like the
Yeah.
amount of free stuff you get as a USC student, especially food when we walk down like Truesdale, which is like an outer entrance of the school. Like that's one of the biggest
Oh.
perks. And you can also just see random celebrities just walking around, which I think is also funny but cool at the same time. It's just like, why are you here? First of all, but secondly, like, wait, do you go here? You know what I mean? It's
No,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
like I went to a basketball game last year and like Snoop Dogg was there. It's like, oh, okay, like hi.
That's so funny.
Cool
But yeah,
program.
I guess to bring it back to Viterbi, we love USC as a whole. But I think one thing I feel like Viterbi has really helped me with is like those career opportunities. We have our own like school specific career fair. USC has like a broader one where it's like any school, it's like in the Truesdale, but the Viterbi specific career fair is very helpful to get to those target companies. We also have a whole like career connections office just in Viterbi. And I think every school at USC has that too, but my experience with Viterbi has been amazing with their career connections office. Yeah. We'll move on now to the next question. Our next question is, how interdisciplinary is USC? Are there opportunities to explore other subjects while pursuing an engineering education at USC? And we kind of touched on this, but we can answer it again.
Yeah, I'd like to take this one to start.
Okay.
So one thing that I kind of came into USC like knowing that I was kind of had a love-hate relationship with was the fact that we have to like take GEs, which I think just stands for like general education. And what that means is you have a bunch of requirements about like taking the writing classes and taking social science classes and it yeah, I was kind of like, oh no, like I have to learn history again, like shoot. But I've actually really enjoyed it because you get a chance to one, meet people who aren't engineers, which I love my engineers, but sometimes I need a break. And two, you also get to explore coursework that is just so different from what else you're doing. So like last semester, I took a course that was all about the history of California. Which was super fun, actually. Everyone was like, "Oh, like you're gonna hate it. It's gonna be boring." I was like, "No, like that it was super fun." And part of it is like one, I'm from Chicago, and so I didn't really know anything. And two, did you guys know that there were mammoths in California, like way back
No,
in the day? Isn't that
Actually.
no
crazy?
idea.
So like it's been a really cool experience because you get to kind of take classes, like you have to take classes that are not just engineering. And I put a lot of thought into mine and I've picked things that are kind of aligned with what I'm interested in. So I'm also in one this semester that's a political science class about environmental challenges. And it's been super interesting. It kind of just provides that extra bit of context for like what else I'm interested in. And it's been really great that I'm like encouraged and kind of, have to take advantage of that opportunity.
Nice. So our next question from Serena is, how is the social life at USC? Is it easy to connect with people who are not in engineering majors? Like, how is it?
I'll take this one first.
Mhm.
I had this experience. It was really really weird in dining hall. I literally like I was in a dining hall, I was in line for something. I asked someone a question and like it came off really weird and I said it out loud for some reason. And I didn't know what I did, but then they started speaking to me, and then I started speaking to them, and then all of a sudden they invited me to their graduation party. So if that kind of gives you an example of how USC is in terms of like social life, like everyone's so personable and like friendly for some weird reason. Sometimes too friendly. I mean, I literally just met this guy and he's inviting me to his place for a graduation party. But like, yeah, like you'll meet a lot of people in different majors and if you tell them, "Hey, I'm a Viterbi student," they're gonna be like, "Whoa," and say something that they've heard about Viterbi students, and then you immediately say something about their school because like we all have our own tropes. So that's how like you start a bonding experience. We all just have those types of conversations all the time between different majors and different schools and stuff like that. So with me, I feel like I found the social life very easy and very personable. It's really easy to talk to different people, and there's so many different lounges on campus as well for different types of affinities. I think there are. And you can literally meet somebody who has something in common with you in literally any of those spaces. So yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think another great way to meet people across campus is those orgs that like aren't really major specific or school specific. So I talked about Troy Camp earlier, which is a service organization that I'm a part of on campus. And there's students from all different schools at USC who participate in the service organization. And it's so cool because otherwise, if I hadn't been a part of Troy Camp, I would not have crossed paths with them. So there's a lot of like opportunities like that to get to meet people across schools.
Yeah, and I think just to add one more thing is I think one thing that I kind of forgot about when I was coming into college is I was like, oh my gosh, like it's going to be so hard to meet people. But the thing is that everyone is also entering this new experience. Everybody wants to meet each other. So talking to people, especially like right at that beginning, like USC was really great about this. They had a ton of like welcome events where we were encouraged to talk to each other. They call it like courtyard connections, where you like sit down.
Mm.
It's like everyone from that like lives in dorms or like lives on campus is encouraged to like come and hang out and just meet each other. And like it's a really great way too, like right from the beginning to just meet people and then like it's really great to meet people in organizations and stuff that you're shared interest in, but then this way too, I also got to meet people that are just doing things that are just so different from what I'm doing too. Like it's just people that are in entirely different spheres that we just interacted because we happen to like live down the hall from each other.
Yeah,
So
like
that
one of the
was
people
really
that I
cool.
met at Courtyard Connections, she's actually a creative writing major. And so we clearly have very little path crossover, but we've been great friends the whole time here at USC, just based on like that one kind of like forced to be there interaction. So yeah, you can meet people from all over and stay friends with them because you don't have to be in the same classes with people to be friends with them. You all live in the same place, so.
Yeah, exactly. So the next question. Oh, actually, as a reminder, I just want to remind everyone, continue submitting your questions. You still have 30 minutes left. Make sure you're going through and upvoting them as well. And for anyone who's just joined, this whole webinar will actually be uploaded to our YouTube channel, which I'll link at the end of the webinar. So our next question, Sarah asks, what is the vibe like on campus? Is it more competitive or not competitive? What would y'all say?
Highly competitive. No, I'm kidding. It's actually I think Antonio, you touched on this a lot, and I like second it with all my heart. The coolest thing about Viterbi is not just that we get to work with people from other disciplines, but like that within our own discipline, we're not trying to cut each other's throats. It's very project based, and at most schools that's terrifying. You hear project based, you're like, oh, I got to carry these kids. But end of the day, I mean, everyone's brilliant, and it's always the classmates that I work with that I learn the most from. And it's those like late night study sessions where like you're trying to figure out a problem set or you're just grinding on a project and then something clicks and you're like, oh, like that's what I was supposed to learn. So very collaborative, and I definitely think that's one of the coolest parts about Viterbi. One of the things that most makes us like the most unique.
Nice. Here's a fun one. Victoria asks, what is the most fun event you've gone to at USC? For me, it's probably like honestly, my first freshman year football game. I was like, this is amazing. Like I had a great time. The whole like tailgate press football game, like that was so fun.
Yeah, related to football, I actually had a really cool experience like 2 weeks ago where my friend was like really active on Instagram. And so he saw that like the Legion Instagram account posted the basketball coach offering a giveaway of these field passes. And so me and my
Oh
friends
my
went and
gosh.
met him at Tommy Trojan and we got field passes. And so for the
That
first
is
time this
so cool.
year, yeah, we got to like go down on the field and it was a really awesome experience. And it was just like, right place, right time. We saw the right thing. Like it was crazy timing. And it's just like that's like how just like many opportunities there are at USC that just like pop up just like that.
Yeah, I mean, for
Yeah.
me, I know the. Oh, my bad. You can
No, go ahead.
go. I was gonna say, they don't have it anymore, actually. But it was Splash Bash. That was like the best experience ever. Like, it essentially, there's a we have a recreational center on campus called Lions, and right next to it is the Olympic pools and everything, and they used to have a really huge pool party for all the incoming freshmen where you would just pack like sardines into this pool space and literally just party the night away. It was a lot of fun. They don't have it anymore, unfortunately, for good
Oh,
reasons though, because there were so many people there. But I think currently it has to be the Welcome Back concert. We usually always have a really good headliner. This year we had JID, which is like my favorite artist. So it was really cool because I literally waited there in line. I was front row, like front seat and everything, like rapping my heart away. So yeah,
Yeah, the concerts are dope. They're so cool.
And they're free.
and
They
then
are free to students. They're
Yeah.
so fun. I'm sure. Did you get barricade, Antonio?
yes, I was against the barricade, and once again, random celebrity moment. I also like met Ariana Greenblatt at the same time. Like what?
That's so funny. No, yeah, events on campus are so fun and amazing. They're probably like I honestly I don't see other colleges who have our events. Like they're so fun.
Yeah.
So our next question is from is from Kai. I'm gonna go ahead and answer this because it was one of the top majored or one of the top requested questions. How easily can you double major across schools? I don't think any of us personally have experienced double majoring across schools, but I know it's basically just like a matter of if you have the availability in your schedule. That's something that you can talk to with your advisor when you get to USC. You don't really apply as a double major. That's something that you can like add on because you have to apply to one school when you apply. Um,
And
okay,
to
oh, you can
sorry, to
you
add
can
something onto that too, like I've been thinking about this a lot, but there's also a ton of options of what you can do with your schedule. Like I'm considering adding on a PDP, which stands for Progressive Degree Program, which basically means that instead of double majoring or instead of minoring, I can start taking graduate level classes and possibly graduate with a master's degree as well as a bachelor's by adding on like a semester or two.
yeah, and some students even come to USC with space to do that within 4 years. It's
Yeah.
all a matter of whatever AP credits or other credit you can come into USC with. There's a lot of amazing options. Our next question, it's a good question. How's the food at USC? What would y'all say? I feel like the food for me, TCC has my favorite food. I don't know if y'all been. There's a new bowls place. Their
Yeah, it's so
bulgogi,
good. It's
their
genuinely really
bulgogi
good.
bowls are fire.
so
It just opened this semester, so it's been pretty good. I like that place.
is that in seeds?
It's in TCC, like where like Panda is. You know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think yeah. I mean, I think the food on campus is good. Dining halls are solid. They're dining halls. I mean, they're good. They're good dining halls, but it's dining halls. I think the food around campus is amazing. Like, there's tons of food trucks that set up like next to campus, and they serve food like all night for like the late night study sesh or like if you go to a party or something. It's always like there's something to eat, and it's always good. So
There's also normally always like a food event as well. Like the
Mhm.
free food is the best food at USC.
yes,
That's so funny.
There are also like an absurd amount of coffee shops. Like I feel like every like third building just like has a coffee shop in it. And it's
yeah.
cute. Like you can like I don't know, like try all of them. Like one of them's hidden like semi under but like almost under the library. Like they're all over. So that's really cute to be like, "Oh my God, look, I found another coffee shop."
Or when you just need like a pick me up in the middle of going to classes, like I'll run and go get like a Red Bull from the coffee shop next to Levy, or just order a coffee. Yeah.
Dude, I've like
Um,
walked out of class and got a coffee before and walked back into class. It's happened. It's happened.
yeah, caffeine. That's low key. I think a lot of engineering students run off of caffeine sometimes, but mostly like midterm final season. Okay, so next question. Do you feel the USC alumni network helps you get internships and jobs, especially in today's tough market? Or what is y'all's experience with the alumni network or the so-called Trojan network?
I've been super lucky. So I've worked at a few places. I've interned a few places, and I've done some other work too. So uh, every job I've had, I've worked for a number of companies, including top brands like Microsoft, and all of them I've gotten a foot in the door by meeting someone at USC events or either through the career office or I see someone on LinkedIn and who I think is cool and I'll reach out and be like, hey, like you want to hop on a call or grab a coffee or something. So I've had great luck with the community and the network, but I'm curious to hear y'all's experiences.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like I'm kind of at the point where I haven't fully taken advantage of it. Because I'm just a sophomore, and so my freshman summer, a lot of my friends were talking about internships and connections and all of that, and I was kind of like, I would like to go home. And so I actually I went home for the summer, and I've had a job as a camp counselor where I'm a camp counselor for like 5 and 6 year olds, and like I love them with my whole heart. And so I did that. And then because my lab on campus is actually like I can do all of my work remotely, I also did research over the summer. So for me, like, I know that the USC Alumni Network is there and I know that I'm gonna use it. But for me, like, I'm not, like that's something I'm gonna look into this year.
Yeah, hopefully that works out. For me, I had an internship at an aerospace company called Mason Controls. And the great thing is that I actually got the connection to even apply to that internship through an event that I attended here at USC. And I was able to actually meet the president of the company and he encouraged me to apply to the position and I ended up getting it. So yeah, you never know who's going to be around Viterbi's campus. Always keep an eye out for events and there's really amazing opportunities. Um, yeah, so we'll move on to our next question. Make sure you're still submitting those questions and upvoting them. There's tons of questions coming in. Let's see. Our next one is roughly how long do you spend a day in classes, studying and extracurriculars? What would y'all say?
Well, like trying to try to understand the question, I think like you're just trying to see like basically like how much time is spent towards class and how much time is spent towards like, your own thing. And I think it
Hmm.
really depends on one, how many things that you're transferring into, like how many credits you're transferring in from high school, but also like what you set up as your course plan with your advisor. It really just depends on the major and everything like that. But I know for me that a lot of my courses that I'm taking are heavy in terms of credits. So like some days I'll have a completely open day where I'll literally have one class and I have total freedom after that. But then I have other days where I'm literally working 8 to 3 o'clock with no breaks. So it's really it. I do it to myself. I'll say once again because you actually do get to schedule your own classes and everything like that, which it's a huge jump from high school. But yeah, it really just depends on what you want to do for your own course load. You really make your own schedule here. So
And
And
I think
then, okay.
And I think too, the other thing to keep in mind is that you're coming from high school where you have such a set schedule and you're in class for such a set time, and you get to college and I kind of got there freshman year and I was like, "Oh my God, I have so much time." And like yes, like I'm still spending hours in classes each week, but just the way that the time is structured and the way that it's broken apart is like you have more time for things and it's how you want to dedicate that time. So between like my classes and between what I'm involved in, I'm probably spending about the same amount of time as I almost spent in class in high school, but it feels different because it's structured differently and it functions differently, and it's a lot less of, oh, I'm in class learning, and now instead I'm in class learning, but also now I'm doing work. It's structured a bit differently.
Yeah, I feel like I tend to structure my schedule. Like, I'll have my classes, and then if there's a break in the classes, I'll pop into my research lab and like run an experiment, or I'll go do something for a club, or go to a club meeting, or be like, oh, I have a free hour, I'm going to study. So I definitely like schedule out an entire day of like stuff, but it's not like in high school where it's like you are just in a classroom being talked at all day. It's more, there's a lot more variety. You get to kind of like all the things you do are kind of mixed all together instead of like now is school, now is extracurriculars, now is sleeping. It's just kind of all mixed together. So it feels less exhausting. It's more fun.
Yeah, exactly. Google Calendar it probably runs all of our lives. I know it runs mine. I literally schedule when I hang out with friends sometimes because I have so much stuff going on in my brain. I'm like, let me
That's
remember.
too much. It's
Yeah.
too much.
Um, okay, so the next question, what are some specific things that are only present at USC? Maybe some like niche facts about the school, or yeah, like what makes the school stand out to y'all?
Yeah, I mean, like obvious fact is geography. Really, really weird situation. This morning this morning I went mountain biking, then Friday before class I went surfing, and then in the winter I'll go up on probably Friday night and go skiing. So what's the coolest thing about USC is we live in one of the coolest cities in the world. LA is pretty awesome, but there's also so much variety of nature around us. Like right outside the city, there's beaches, mountains, whatever you could possibly want to see, and so much of it. So I think the fact that you're in LA, but have access to such cool stuff around you is what makes like USC kind of unique.
One of
Yeah, exactly.
one of my favorite little things too is like a lot of people think like, oh, like the Trojan is your mascot. It's the Trojans, but our mascot is actually Traveler the horse. And
Heck yeah.
football game, when we score a touchdown, he does a loop of the field, and I love that. It's
We
so fun.
also have an Olympic torch, which
Yeah.
I don't know why we're allowed to have that, but we do. And the fourth quarter of every football game, they just like light the torch because it's there and we can. And I think that's like the first game I went to, I was like, what? Are we allowed to be doing this? But yeah, we are.
Well, yeah,
And it's
did
Yeah,
just
we
like such a
actually
fun,
host?
silly little thing.
Yeah, we hosted the Olympics here, I think, like a long time ago. I think it
the
was
LA Coliseum.
Yeah.
And
84 or something.
2028.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
another cool
2028 is
thing,
gonna be crazy.
yeah, hopefully we're gonna kind of win too. But I think that another cool thing is like a niche fact about USC is the fact that our SCA building is like one of the only places that has a star, like a Hollywood star, that's not at the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Mhm.
So I think that's pretty cool too, the fact that we have one of those.
Whose is
Yeah,
it?
that's dope.
It just says USC Cinematic Arts.
It's ours.
Yeah, it's
Heck yeah.
ours. Ours.
Fight
It's
on.
our.
Okay, our next one. I really love this question. They basically were asking about like the bubble that you experiences when you have a life full of classes and like you're just on campus all the time and like studying. Like, have you as students experienced this bubble ever? And if so, how have you broken out of it or have learned to live with it? And do you feel USC specifically helped with either not experiencing this bubble or yeah?
I mean, I would say like I don't feel like I'm in a bubble. Like yes, like there's a lot like yes, I'm spending time in class and yes, I'm spending time in labs and yes, I'm spending time studying, but a lot of that is with people. Like I'm socializing throughout it all, which honestly may be a little bit too much, but we're working on it. And like it doesn't like I'm also not always act interacting with engineers and also like the engineering bubble like not everyone is engineering all the time. Like you're going to be friends with engineers and believe it or not, you're going to be talking about things that aren't engineering. And like my friends, I think for like the last 3 weekends, we've gotten to like go out to the beach and like have fun and take pretty pictures. Like there's not like I don't know, like I think that phrase is just so funny, like a little engineering bubble. Like I never am like, oh my gosh, like I'm stuck here. Like it's felt like, it's honestly freeing too to be able to talk about the engineering things that I'm interested in with people who like understand that passion.
Similar interests, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
for
that
sure.
USC itself, or like a college campus itself, can also be described as a bubble. Like you hear about people like, oh, you just never leave campus. But I think that a lot of people at USC do like go outside the bubble of USC as a whole a lot. Like I go to the elementary schools and teach science experiments. We all try to go explore LA. We have our little metro pass so we can get on any like metro bus or train for free. So I think that USC does like have all these programs and things to like encourage you to like go out and see the world. Don't just sit around on campus. Campus is great, But I think we do leave, we go do things. Like, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, one way that I get out of the bubble, even when I have so much stuff to do, I love going to study cafes in LA and going to also different ones. There's an area of LA, if you're not a native, called K-Town or Koreatown, and they have so many cute cafes with like a bunch of like little pastries or just like really good matcha and coffee. And one of my favorites is one called About Time. Fire. Like I can sit there for like hours instead of like having to sit on in the library on campus. Like I love exploring K-Town and other parts of LA. Um, yeah, so our next question, continue getting those questions in. We have about 15 minutes. So hopefully we can answer around 2 to 3 more. Our next question is basically asking like, how easy is it to switch between majors in Viterbi or like adding a minor? And like if y'all have experience with that, like what's your experience?
Adding a minor was so easy. I just talked to my advisor. I was like, hey, I want to add a minor. And he was like, but you're also like pre-med, so you have kind of a lot of classes you have to take. And so we sat down and made a whole course plan for like my entire life. And he was like, great, now you have another advisor. So I had like my minor advisor, and you just have to meet with them and they're like, oh yeah, look, you're gonna take all these classes. So like the advisors are really great and they're really excited to help you. And every time you try to add something else, you just get another person to help you. So, in my experience, it was really easy.
And yeah, for me, like part of it is being near the rocket propulsion lab is a lot of people in like the aerospace and the AME department, which Antonio, I don't know if you've experienced this, but a lot of people are kind of bouncing around between aero and mechanical and astro because a lot of that, I mean, from the outsider's perspective, a lot of it is similar, especially because it is the same AME department, so a lot of those classes that they take are similar. So, like switching between those, I don't think is that difficult. I think it just kind of depends on what you want to go to. Like I have a couple of friends who actually switched out of chemical engineering because they realized they wanted to do more like biotech, biopharma, more BME stuff, and they switched to biomedical engineering, and that was like not hard for them. Part of it too is it depends on how early you're looking into that. And I think like as you're applying, like you should apply for the one that you're interested in. Like applying for, I mean, I don't know, like I was kind of that gets into a whole other discussion, but switching once you get here and you realize that it's something that you're passionate in, once you realize it and you do it, you're pretty much fine. It's like if you're thinking about it and like, oh, maybe I should wait, then that's where you can get a little too far into specific classes that won't transfer as much. But everyone that I've talked to who's ended up switching has been completely fine.
One quick note.
Yeah,
Sorry, wait, one sec.
no, you're fine.
For now, to get at your question, I came in mechanical, and then I switched to CECS, which I highly recommend looking at from the CS, EE, and CE you put on there. But yeah, between those, it's the curriculums are similar up into a point, and yeah, it's fairly trivial to switch.
Yeah, and then I was actually going to speak from an experience of a student who did change their major. I started out as the computer science and business major in Viterbi, and then I realized once I got to that like second level computer science class that computer science wasn't for me, and I decided to switch into industrial systems engineering. And all it was a conversation with my advisor, and similar to what Sarah said, they map out all of your courses, and the switch literally was like a snap of a finger after because I realized that at the end of a semester, and so I was able to start a new semester with new classes, and it was really easy switch. And I'm glad I made the switch. I enjoy all of my new classes I've been taking so far. Yeah. Um, so our next question is, how often do multiple majors get to work together on bigger projects outside of research specifically?
Oh, all the time. At least I'm going back to telling you again about med design. I'm so sorry. But yeah, in the club that I'm a part of, people from all sorts of majors, both in engineering and also not even engineering, are part of these design teams. So we're all bringing in our different experience, the different things we've learned, and working together, which is how the real world works. So it's super great. And I think most of the design teams are like that. Anybody from any major can join, usually a lot of engineers, and then you get to all work together. So we're definitely not all like, oh my God, I only talk to BME majors. Like, that would be really weird.
Yeah, there was a screenwriting major who wanted to join the rocket team.
That's so
I
cool.
think is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, the cool thing about all of the project design teams is it's literally open to anyone at USC. So like that's where you really will see like the cross major interactions and everything. So we have about 10 minutes left, so we have probably about 1 to 2 questions that we can answer. Um, there's this question about dorm life and how are the dorms and living conditions around Viterbi or around the USC in general? Like where did y'all live this freshman year?
So I was a little bit unorthodox. I stayed in an apartment my freshman year, but it was an on-campus apartment. It's called Web Tower. Highly recommended if you do not want to share a bathroom with every single person on the same floor as you. But I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where you really have to figure out what you want as a student in college in terms of your living situation. If you want to have more of a communal space where you're talking to a lot of people, or whether you want to be kind of closed off. Like for me, I'm already pretty extroverted when it comes to like talking to people outside of school. So when I come back to my room, I kind of want to be by myself. So that's kind of why I chose the apartment style. But yeah, we have a lot of different places on campus. I think some of you guys probably speak about other spaces as well.
Yeah, me and Sophie are spoiled because we lived in McCarthy, which is the like freshman honors college. And so we had suite style rooms, so we had like our own bathroom shared among like four-ish people. And we had all these like really lovely study lounges, which is where we met actually. And yeah, so like McCarthy's super nice. But yeah.
Yeah, but we also had a ton of friends that lived in other dorms. Like a lot of I mean, the dorm experience at USC, it's great. I think a big part of that is again the whole everybody wants to be social and everybody wants to meet each other, and like you're living in a space that allows for that. Like one of my friends, she lived in New North, which is one of the more communal style dorms, and where you're like sharing a bathroom and like, yeah, like she had to share a bathroom with a bunch of people, but she also met a ton of people because of that.
And you can also like you don't have to be interacting with people. I know people who like choose not to go outside of the dorm as much, and that's also fine. There's ample opportunity to go out and meet people and hang out with them, but it's not like you can't like choose to be by yourself, just to like make sure.
Yeah.
We're social, but not like aggressively so.
On a personal note, I think you do have a little bit of say over where you get choice. I think there's like a ranking, right?
Yeah.
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 I lived in a place called Marks, which I don't think any of y'all will have the pleasure of because I think they're tearing it down. But
Wait,
rightfully
really?
so. But very, very, very older, more like communal. And at first I was a little like off-put about the idea of like living like in a shared space. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. And I live in a 10-person house now. Every single person I live in this house with lived on my floor freshman year because they were just all so awesome. It was like a incredible once in a lifetime experience to just be like live in a shared community. Not something I ever thought I could ever be down with, but it was super cool.
Nice. Yeah, I also lived in McCarthy, so I had a similar experience to Sarah and Sophie. Um, so we have about 5 minutes left. So actually, I have a question that I want to ask our panel as our final question. Um, my question is, what is one bit of advice now that we are college students at USC and like looking back on that experience of being a senior in high school applying to colleges, what is one bit of advice that we can give to these students and now that we're here, like looking back?
I'd like to take this one first. When I was applying to schools, I was like so stressed. Like I was the most stressed person you've ever seen. I applied to so many schools all over the place. I had no idea what I was thinking. And like honestly, my advice again for my former self and for all of you guys is like it's all gonna work out. Like you're gonna end up where you're meant to be. And for me, that was USC, and I hope you're seeing USC as a place for you too, and just like it's gonna be all right.
Adding on to that, also making sure you're being yourself in your
That
applications.
one,
We're not
yes.
looking for you to be like some fake, like idealized version. I know I got deep into like internet of like, oh, this is an essay that got in. Like, do I have to sound like that? Like, please don't do that. Like, you want to just show who you are, what you've done, what you're passionate about, and that will help you out the most with applications because we want, or the mission people want to see like, who are you? Are you going to bring something to this community? So show them who you actually are. Don't try to be something else. You did great. Show them that.
Antonia, do you have any advice?
I mean, honestly, I would just say kind of go with your gut. For me, I had a different experience in terms of like applications and stuff like that. Like USC wasn't my number one choice originally, but it then became my number one choice. And the thing is, like, it was kind of like a gut feeling. You know what I mean? Like it was one of those situations where like I came to the school, I visited it, and then I had like one of these types of emotions that just came over me. I was like, I got to go to USC. You know what I mean? And it paid off because I'm here now and I'm loving it and I'm getting to tell you all that I love it as well. So I mean, at the end of the day, go with your gut. That's all I got.
I think that's really good advice. I think as a senior looking back, my swan song uh, old head comment is do stuff that scares you. Like whatever you're scared about or experience that has you stressed is probably the thing that you most should look into doing. So it's my thoughts.
Nice. I echo everything that everyone said. Like honestly, just take a deep breath. Everything will work out, and where you end up is where you're meant to end up. And there's so many great opportunities in college, and you can just go for it. And so for the sake of time, we don't want to go over our 8 p.m. ending. So I'm just gonna kind of wrap it up. So thank you so much for attending our webinar. I provided some links in the chat that I would love for everyone to have. The first link is to our application website, or for information about applying to Viterbi, has helpful deadlines and different information there. The second link I applied is our events link. So we will have our second live chat in October, and it's actually our Women's and Engineering live chat. So it'll be a panelist of all female students. We would love for our YouTube channel where we put up some funny videos and also some informational videos. We actually put up a really funny video called Burning Questions, where we ask our director of engineering our admissions director about different things about USC and about applying. I also linked our Instagram, and yeah, that's everything we have. Thank you so much for everyone for attending our webinar tonight, and have a great night. Bye.
Bye all.